What's up? Welcome into your Daily Buckeye Blitz for a Wednesday, the hump day, January 17th, 2024. How's everybody doing out there? Getting by, getting back to normal, whatever. Keep an eye out for the video vault that's coming. Ran into some technical difficulties, as we always do, but I have a team of people on it. Not really, but it is getting fixed, so we're very close. You're going to love it. Yeah. All the videos you could ever want and stuff that you can't find on YouTube. So that's the upside. All right. I will let you know when it's ready to go. Let's get to it. We're talking backfield, running backs, Judkins and Henderson, T and Q, Trey and Quinshon. This is a deadly duo, man. I'm telling you, I'm going to lay it out here for you. These two guys in the same backfield is going to be insane. Not to mention Dallin Hayden as the third man in, and Will Howard with his feet. We might not have to throw the ball. No, nobody wants to hear that. Shut up. No, but so we got Quinshon Judkins coming in, 5'11", 210. Dude's a little brick shit house. So let's compare. I want to kind of do a comparison here between Trey and Quinshon and what they did last year. Talk about what they've done thus far, especially Judkins, because we don't really have a lot to go on. I don't know about you guys, but I don't sit around watching Ole Miss football games during the season. So let's compare just basic stats here. Trey, 156 attempts last year. Quinshon, 271. Trey rushed for 926 yards. Can we call him Q or Jugs? Jugs? How about Q? I don't know. We need to come up with a nickname for Quinshon. I like Q. It's easy. Anyways, he rushed for 1,158 yards per carry. Trey was a 5.9. Quinshon 4.3, and then the per game average, Trey was a 92.6. Quinshon was a 89.1. Trey had 11 rushing touchdowns. Don't forget he missed a few games during the season, which he has every year except his freshman. Quinshon rushed for 15 touchdowns. Trey had 4 100-yard rushing games. Quinshon's had 6. So we'll get back to some PFF stats here in a moment as I get through this. But so with Judkins coming in, we're getting, you could arguably say he's the best running back in the SEC, the best single running back. A lot of other teams go with a 2 or 3 running back system, you know. But so in his 2 college seasons, so this will be year 3 for him. He rushed for 2,725 yards, 31 touchdowns, also had 3 touchdown receptions. But there was a little bit of a decline, maybe a little bit more than a little bit, maybe a significant decline from his freshman to sophomore years, because he started as a freshman right out the gates. So as a freshman, he rushed for 5.7 yards per carry. Then this last year as a sophomore, 4.3. So it's a drop off of 1.4 yards per carry. That's significant. I can't argue that. But he's the only running back they used, you know. So he probably got a little bit worn down in his freshman year. Here's his carries. In 2022, his freshman year, he had 274 carries, 8th most in college football, all of college football. Then last year he had 271 carries, 6th most in FBS. So to say he's been used a lot, I know some ladies of the night that would scoff at that. Anyways, just kidding. I don't know any ladies of the night. Keep it clean here. The Buckeye running game could get that little bit of I don't know, just something different. We need that between the tackles runner. You know, Dallin Hayden brings that somewhat. Chip didn't really bring that, even though he's the bigger dude. But we could be just bring in that zone running kind of scheme. Judkins would be the perfect complement will be the perfect complement to Tre's home run hitting ability. The physical element that Judkins brings in his running style, that will add a little bit different flavor to the Buckeyes running attack. He's a physical dude up the middle. He gained 62% of his rushing yards between the tackles last year. He's got excellent vision for when to make that cut and get downhill in between in the A gap, B gaps, whatever. So his elusiveness and his strength make him difficult to bring down as well. So he's not getting brought down with just arm tackles. This one was key. Excuse me. I almost sneezed on the microphone. Judkins forced 78 missed tackles last year. That is a huge number, man. When you think about he played in 13 games, that's what's that, 6 a game? Yeah, nail it. Tre, to compare, only had 29. Now he did miss a handful of games, but still, Tre's only averaging like 2 per game. So he brings that element to that inside running game. And those 78 forced missed tackles, that was 4th most in college football. He also broke a lot of tackles, Judkins did. He generated 871 yards of his 1159 after contact. So after contact, he's getting, almost 85% of his yards? That's insane. So he's running through dudes. Now with Tre, you got his strength is his quickness, right? Ability to hit that home run, make plays in open space, bounce outside, get to the sideline and go. And so he had 10 runs of at least 20 yards last year. So obviously find some open pastures and get going. He had touchdowns of 75 and 61, if you remember, against Minnesota and Notre Dame. Judkins had 6 carries of 20 yards or more because he's running inside all the time. But Henderson only had 300 yards rushing between the tackles. So again, 300 yards of his 900 total, about a third, were between the tackles for Tre. So again, complementing styles here are going to open up a lot of lanes for both guys here. Lane Kiffin primarily used Judkins on inside zone and counters and power runs. Judkins had 582 touches over his 2 years. And Tre still hasn't played a full season since his freshman year. Played in 8 games in 2022 and then 10 games this year. So Tre did have a nice little stretch late in the fall, if you remember, like late October and into November. He had a 4-game stretch where he accumulated 500 yards rushing. So having him back is huge, getting him back. And he's always been willing to share the backfield. If you remember, he came in with Evan Pryor, and they were both willing to split carries and not just be the bell cow, the single running back, because they didn't want to get worn down, which you see is somewhat happened with Judkins. So with a between the tackles runner like Judkins and a running threat at the quarterback with Will Howard, this can really fix some of those red zone and short yardage issues for the Buckeyes. Howard's willingness to keep it on design QB runs or zone reads, things like that, could really open things up outside for Henderson too. So now, of course, the O-line needs to do their part. That's always a problem, right? Then you got where does Dallin Hayden fit into this entire picture? He being the third man in, he's going to be utilized a lot. There's no more red shirt. They really worked hard to shoehorn that red shirt year in last year for whatever reason. But so Dallin's got 3 more years. So Judkins could be gone after this year. Tre will definitely be gone after this year, probably. And so Dallin could be the man in 2025. So with Henderson returning, you got Judkins. Dallin, probably feeling a little crowded, but He's a reliable north-south runner, and we're going to need 3 strong running backs. Always will. You got to give guys, if you're playing in this new 12-team playoff format, if you're playing 14, 15, 16 games to win a championship, you're going to need to give some dudes some time off. I mean, look at what they do in the NFL. They give guys a game or 2 off here or there, not because they're necessarily injured, just kind of load management kind of stuff, take some carries off that body, rest them up, make sure they're good to go for the stretch run, the week before the Cheaters game, then the Cheaters game, then the Big Ten championship, and then into the playoffs. Make sure everybody is peaking then, right? So with Dallin, I'm not worried about him getting carries. He's going to get plenty of carries. I guarantee he's going to get over 100 carries this year. So I feel really good about this deadly duo between Judkins and Henderson. This is going to be really exciting, and receivers might be a little jealous. He might not get as many balls. I don't know. We'll see. But hope you guys are fired up about it. Hit me in the comments. Hey, hit me with a like one time. Can I get a like? Don't forget to subscribe as well. I'd appreciate that. And we'll talk to you later. Go Bucks.